Hey there, this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and this is your Singer Model 12. This is the final test before we pack her up to ship her out to you. And in this test, we're going to go over the basic threading and bobbin winding and operation of the machine. If you've never used a treadle before, don't be surprised if it takes a little while to get the hand-eye foot coordination together. It takes just a little bit of practice, but if you stick to it, you'll get it. Here's how to thread your Singer Model 12. Put your thread on the spool pin. Make sure you have a spool felt under your spool to keep the spool from spinning. That can get thread trapped below the spool wrapped around the spool pin. So from the spool, go through the thread guide on the front here. Go down to the tension assembly on the front. Go between the discs all the way around. When you come to the top, go through the take-up lever, and that's the thing that goes up and down from the front towards the back of the machine, then down to this little thread guide hole on the needle clamp. Just looks like a hole, but it goes all the way through and down to the needle. And then you thread from the front towards the back. So when you set your needle, you want the groove that runs up the side of the needle to face you. I don't remember if this needle has a flat side, but if it does, the flat side would be towards the back of the machine. Put your thread towards the back of the machine, and you're ready to sew. That's assuming that you've already brought up your lower thread. In case you haven't, I'll do that in just a minute. To start sewing, give your hand wheel a turn towards you with both your feet on the treadle, and you'll feel the treadle move, and just follow that motion. Try to get in sync with it and keep it going the way that it wants to go. Before you start, hold both your threads, your upper and your lower thread, and turn the hand wheel one full revolution till your needle comes back up out of the fabric, and that will set the stitch so it doesn't pull back out. Now put both your feet on the treadle, one towards the front and one towards the back. Give the hand wheel a turn and you'll feel it. You'll feel the pedal tilt, and just continue it, help it along. And it might take you a little while to get the coordination down, but with a very little bit of practice, it'll be easy to pick up. And with this treadle, you can go as slow or as fast as you want to go. And of course, your leg muscles are far stronger than any little 1-amp sewing motor. So you can sew some heavy stuff on this machine. To bring up your lower thread, if you bring your, if you turn your hand wheel until the shuttle carrier goes all the way to the left, just before it starts to return, put your fingernail under the little handle on the shuttle. You can lift it right out. When you put your shuttle in, the open side is going to face you and the point is going to point towards the hand wheel. And elsewhere in this video you'll see how to wind the bobbin and how to thread the bobbin for the tension that you want. So point first with the opening facing you, just slide it in, drop it in. That's all there is to it. Then to bring up your lower thread, hold your upper needle thread and turn your hand wheel 1 full revolution. And the needle will take the thread down and bring up your lower thread, just like on any other machine. Put your thread between the toes of the presser foot towards the back of the machine. Lower the presser foot, get it started. Set your first stitch and away we go. But there's no reason to hurry. One of the nice things about a treadle machine is they're relaxing. I'm not real sure that you're going to be able to see this up close, but it's a real nice, neat, straight stitch, well balanced on the back. Your bobbin, of course, is down here below these slide plates. And if you open the end slide plate all the way and turn your hand wheel towards you, you'll see your bullet-shaped bobbin come into show up. And there's a little handle on the top of it. Get your finger on that little handle and lift it up from this end, the outside end, towards the needle. Lift up the outside corner and be able to lift your shuttle. That's the word, out. I'm going to show you before I take this apart to wind the bobbin, that there's a bar on this side of the bobbin and there is a series of holes on this side. I'll add a close-up photo. But the thread comes from the bobbin itself, under that bar, then back over the bar, straight across through the hole on the blunt end of the bobbin, the hole closest to the blunt end of the bobbin. Then it goes back in through the next hole, then all the way down to the last hole and back out again. So it goes from the bobbin over the bar, out through the hole on the other side, back in through the next hole, then out through the last hole. And it'll make more sense when you see it in person, but then that gives you just enough lower tension for regular sewing. Bobbin drops out from the bottom of the shuttle and it goes on the bobbin winder, which is over here. And the bobbin winder is made so that it's spring-loaded, and when you push it in to put the bobbin in, it makes the rubber tire of the bobbin winder contact the hand wheel, and that's what's going to wind your thread. So I'm going to pull that over. bobbin, there are indentations. There we go. Put it in the wheel side first. All right, can you see it right? Let's move you over this way a little bit. Hi, by the way, I'm Mike. Move you over so you can see a little better. This part of the bobbin winder pushes in. It's spring loaded. So you put the end of your bobbin into that side first, and then into the divot on the other side here. And put your thread on the spool pin. Put it through this thread guide at the top here, and down to your bobbin. And actually, I should put a few wraps on it before we start to hold the thread in place. What I do is I lay the length of the thread along the shaft of the bobbin, hold it in place, and then just put several wraps. And that'll hold the thread in place while you wind. And come over here, put the bobbin in the wheel side first. And you just kind of guide it by hand. There's no clutch release here, so the whole machine is going to cycle as you wind. So here you go, 2 feet on the treadle plate. Give it a spin towards you, get the feel of which way the treadle plate wants to go. Make sure the hand wheel is turning towards you. Guide it back and forth on the spindle so that you have a nice even wind on your bobbin. That should be plenty for our test. Again, push the wheel in, spring loaded, lift your bobbin out, and move your bobbin away from the hand wheel. I mean your bobbin winder away from the hand wheel. Put your, with the thread coming off the bottom of the bobbin on this side, with the thread coming off the bobbin, off the bottom of the bobbin in this direction, turn your shuttle so the point faces to the right. Put your bobbin in, put your bobbin in the shuttle and guide the thread below the bar on this side. It seems complicated, but after you do it a time or two, it'll just be natural. Yes, indeed, sewing machines have come a long way in 160 years. Okay, then we're going to go back in over the top of that bar. So the thread ends up wrapped around that bar. We're going to go directly across into the hole in the other side, closest to the blunt end of the shuttle. So the thread will come out of the end hole here. Make sure you're not wrapped around the bobbin. back into the very next hole. These various holes are what adjusts your tension back 160 years ago. And then we're going to go all the way to the end hole closest to the pointed end of the shuttle, and back out from the inside toward the outside of the shuttle. See, so your thread goes off the bobbin, around the bar on this side, through the blunt end hole on this side, back into the next hole, then out to the very end hole on the pointed end. Then with the open side of the shuttle facing you, put it back in, make sure that your shuttle driver is all the way to the left. Then put it in, pointed towards the machine, and the open end facing you. Open side facing you. So pointed end goes in first, and then it'll just drop into place there. And close your slide plate most of the way. You want to leave it open a little bit so that the thread can pull through when we bring it up. And that's all there is to winding the bobbin and threading. Really pretty simple. This is your stitch length here. You loosen this thumb screw and you can slide towards the front for shorter stitches, towards the back for longer stitches. When you have the thread stitch length that you desire, then tighten the thumb screw down. And that's about it. You'll see all of the oil holes, various places around the machine. Every 10 or so hours of sewing, put 1 drop of oil in each one of those oil holes. And let's see, you have a little accessory drawer here. It's got a couple of spare bobbins in it, and you have one attachment foot. Yeah, just one. This one is a yeah, there's a word for it. Anyway, yeah, I can't think of anything more. So this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine. Thanks for watching. And if you've come here from somewhere else and found this video, we are Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine. We're out here on Stagecoach Road in the Coast Range of Oregon. And we are on Stagecoach Road. So we are stagecoachroodsewing.com. If you come out to our website, you're going to find a bunch of cool machines available there that you can bring home to your own sewing room. And again, thanks for watching, and yeah, see you there.